our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And may He bless this food to our bodies and bless us in your continued service. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lion Wall. Okay, how about our Pledge of Allegiance? Let's see, how about Lion Doug Irvine? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Lion Doug. And singing, starting us off in singing today is Pioneer Rick Johnson.
Sorry, yeah. It's not Hal. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a step up from Hal. We'll take that. Yeah.
Is a peace, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you. Thank you, Lion Rick. Okay. Guests. Hello, guests. I know we got a couple of them at least, so Lion Tamers, do you have anybody on your guest list today?
President Cheryl. Lions and guests. Jay Pruitt as a guest. Jay?
Do you have money?
I brought my wife Sherry with us me today.
Hi, Sherry. Glad to see you today.
Al Palmer has a guest.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guest, my good friend, Robin Sure.
Hello, Robin. Thanks for being with us.
How do you have any good friends?
I know, that's what I was just going to say, Iowa.
Anybody else out there that's in your face?
Johnston
Oh,
has a
Steve
guest.
Johnston. You want to introduce your special guest, Steve?
President Cheryl from Phil Lions. This is my son, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Welcome. Glad you're with us today. Okay. Anybody else? All right. 3 guests. Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So, I just wanted to make a quick comment that Pioneers, we represented ourselves well last week. We had a couple of events. A visitation by about 10 of us to Castle Rock Lions Club, where there was great food and a good orientation presented by past District Governor Maryland. So a dozen or so of us also showed up at Grocery Outlet for about a half hour to knock out retrieval and bagging of about 44 pounds of plastic on, I think it was Friday, wasn't it, Darlene? Friday. And then after which a couple of Lions then delivered to the Fred Meyer collection site for us. Thanks to all who turned out to help with both of those efforts. We've got a great start on this environmental project, and I think Darlene will be telling you a little bit more about that effort later, so keep saving that stretchy plastic, you guys. Okay, tail twisters. Happy Bucks. Who's happy today? Or not so?
We're starting in the back as usual. Is that money for us? I'm happy to take that.
Money for nothing and the chicks are free? No, I don't think so.
Pat Palmer.
Who? Aloha, President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. I bring you greetings from the fine people of the East Caribbean. I was nearly stolen and sold into sex slavery, but I was able to get away by showing them my body.
Okay.
And that is the wrong
The happy buck is that the travels were safe, the food was wonderful, the beaches were filled with beautiful sands and waves that just kind of went on forever.
And probably way too many people.
At one stop, let's call it Barbados, why not, because it's the name everybody knows. I sat on the beach and I was just quietly staring out into the ocean. Jerry looks across at me and she goes, "What are you doing?" I I said, counting waves. She goes, what are you up to? I said, 6,000, and I just lost track. So I started over. There is, as anybody who's ever been down in that area, there's nothing like the fantastic sights and the amazing people who, on occasion, are actually just human beings, just like the rest of us. They're not all just trying to take out a tour for $46 somewhere. But the best part was, of course, some of the sunsets. Just amazing on that side. And what's really funny is that, you know, since you're on the East Coast, the sun comes up in a weird place over the water that sets over land, and it totally messed me up. Nonetheless, I'm back, and here we go, and I think I can remember how to count, and thanks. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Dwayne Smith.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, when I was young, I remember my parents on a day with weather like this. I was young, and my dad was like, my, what mild weather we have here. And I looked out the window, and it was a day like this. I thought, well, what the heck is he thinking about? And then later on, I realized that they were from Montana.
Yeah.
And much of the country today is experiencing not so great weather. So there's my happy buck for good weather today.
You can dream. You can dream. Oh, Eric. Eric. It was for Steve, not me.
Eric made a donation, but not a comment.
And
Okay.
thank you for always giving. Shirley. She does. Marilyn? I see money still.
Didn't know you were coming around the corner so fast. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to say. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. I've got two happy dollars. One of them is I'm happy that our power came back on. Discovered it was off at 2:30 a.m. and I slept through the storm, but you know, it was a little dark when I got up. So no shower for me, you know. Just found a little hot water. $1 more, right?
Hey, here comes the tardy Jerry McCormick.
I think the other happy dollar is it's really good to see Steve Johnston's son Jeff. I haven't seen him in a while. I told him he was a young guy and he liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. Good to see Eric as well over here.
He's the guy that rented your wife's room for 9 months? And this guy just told me his name was Roger.
Fellow Lions, or King Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, it's been a long time. Here's $5, about $1 for every year I haven't been here recently. I am working on my 100% attendance, as Steve said I was still available for, and still in the running, yeah. So it's good to be back, thank you.
Hey, Roger. Glad to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Stranger. Oh, Rick has money? Did you give him $1? You're so nice.
Maybe.
King Lion Cheryl, fellow Lion guest. I'm just happy because Steve doesn't have any new stitches.
Yeah.
They're all gone. Okay. Mr. John Claypool.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, just beside $1. Roger, it's great to see you. Jeff, it's nice to see you also. I have a little story about Jack Patton. This might take a second. At one of the concerts apart, I was asked to keep hot dogs hot. After 6 beers, that becomes a difficult proposition. And I scorched the hot dogs to the bottom of a very nice stainless steel pot. Tuesday the pot comes, gleaming silver, beautiful. I thank Jack profusely, and that was just Jack Patton right there.
Oh, yeah.
Someone just said it's Santa. Okay, here it comes. Money, 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 money. Are you digging in the moss for money? Okay. Just checking. Walt?
Steve, she's in
Walter.
her own. Oh, he's last. Yeah.
President Cheryl, fellow Alliance and guests, just a few happy dollars here to see Cindy Sessions back in the second VP slot up there. Thank you.
Hi. Hi. It's your turn.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions, yes, happy buck. I guess my text to Roger paid off. I don't know how many times I've texted him, saying, you're retired, it's time to come to a meeting.
I didn't get any text. I got a phone call a year ago.
Oh,
I hear it.
how many years have you been retired?
About 1.5.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, it's Hal's turn. Don't put food in your mouth. I don't want it sticking out at me.
Again.
Yeah, I'm getting behind you.
Get behind you.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. From Phil Olson, past president, would you be kind enough to give 5 happy bucks on my behalf for the only remaining undefeated gridiron power, the Evergreen Gooey Ducks? Good one. So on my 5, I just want to say, one thing about the wind, it's just really wonderful, isn't it? I have one of those, I want to say, 100 yards long fences. Every time there's a wind, one of the fence sections comes out, and that's just horrible. Happy to see Robin here again today, and of course, our good friend Cindy back in the saddle again. And Roger, 2.5 years ago, he was working on my knee. He said, yeah, I'm about ready to come back. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Hal.
Next.
Hey, Mark, got something to say?
Twisted my arm.
I know.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, there's my 5 bucks. First, a very happy dollar for the card and flowers. I appreciate that. Wasn't really expecting that, but I appreciate that, the sentiment of that. Second dollar, our daughter's Jordan's surgery went well last Thursday. She's recovering. However, my wife is still sick, so I've been spending a lot of time watching grandkids down in Kalama. But it's fun. It keeps me somewhat younger. The third dollar is a be careful what you wish for dollar. I walk regularly. I take our dog for a walk every morning at about 7. Often try to get my own walk in, but I'm really tired of getting drenched in the rain. So I kind of said, Lord, could you just give us some weather other than the rain? So then the long-range forecast was showing super cold temperatures, sometimes single-digit temperatures in the long range, and I'm thinking, oh, great. Okay, Lord, maybe something different. Well, then the forecast changed, and I looked yesterday, and it was predicting 14 inches of snow in Longview. They have dropped that down now to 8.8 inches of snow. And Lord, please, I'm sorry. Well, then the latest thing shows freezing rain. So I think I'm just going to shut up and go back to the rain. We'll let that go.
Go back where we started.
Yeah.
Great to see Cindy and Roger. Haven't seen Roger for a while.
And gale force winds.
And Gale Force, I
Yeah.
know. I was really worried about all the stuff in our backyard, but that's a whole other. Word of the week. Japanese proverb this time. One kind word can warm 3 winter months.
Ah,
Thank you.
a nice winter
A lot of
coat.
kindness today. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
All right.
It's doing it again. It must be my magnetic personality. Oh, that one, okay. Not mine, good.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. Got 3 happy dollars, one for my mom coming. I think Greg finally hounded her enough to get in today too. So, and she is not a guest, she is a member. So, and then our other guests, Robin and Jeff, I have to say, I'm trying to think of the years, and I hate to say it, but maybe 40 years ago we were neighbors. I don't know, it seems like so long ago. It was before kids, so long time. And last dollar I have to say is for our baby Georgia, because she is just a doll.
Yes, she is.
Thank you. Pass those here, Steve. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I kind of got sidetracked last week with my $10, so let me start at the top. All right, first of all, I'd like to thank the Club for the Flowers for my getting well and for us losing Jim's mom. For those that don't know, my maiden name was True Luck. In our household now, we're having a lot of bad luck, which my dad always says our name meant back in the day. Let's see, update on me. Physical therapy I started yesterday. For those that don't know, I was in the hospital for 5 days and Americana for 7 days. I had really high kidney levels to the point where I couldn't walk. So guess who's learned how to walk again? Stairs are in my near future. Near future. But Jim's been taking really good care of me, and I want to thank you all for all the phone calls and visits and just being there for me. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Cheryl?
Wow, I think we're a couple of minutes ahead of the game. Terrific. Okay, so Ann, it's time for the sunshine report. Anything going on back there?
President Cheryl, Lions and guests, we have one card back here from Margie Wixon. She had a small stroke last week. And yeah, so what I gather on Facebook is that she's feeling pretty good. So she's at Campus Towers now, so her address will update it about that, so it's on the card.
Okay, if you haven't signed Margie's card, please stop and do that before you leave this afternoon. And to follow up on what Cindy had to say, we got a card from her and Jim. And she said, I'm assuming you wrote this, Cindy. First, thank you for the flowers and phone calls to Cindy. Those, along with the visits, made my recovery very fast moving. Excellent. Thank you again for the flowers for Jim's mom's passing. Again, they were very much appreciated. Yours and Lions, Jim and Cindy. Okay, moving on now to the program. We're there. Here you go, Mark. I hear a phone too. Whoever it is, please reach in your pocket and turn it off.
I thought I heard the sound of money someplace back there with the tail twisters, but pleased to present our speaker today. I was just scrambling on my phone because I realized I deleted part of my notes when I was doing your bio, but I pulled a few things off that. Joseph Govednik has been the director of the Cowlitz County Historical Museum since July of 2017. I would note that on the Lower Columbia Genealogical Society website, they still have contact information for Dave Freese. So that's a little outdated, but we will work on that. He has a bachelor's degree in anthropology and sociology, and I remember looking at your notes, you had masters in 3 different areas.
Business administration.
Business administration.
Anthropology.
Anthropology.
And museum studies.
And museum studies. I was pretty impressed. He had 3 masters, and I look at my notes and went, oh, I don't have those. Since making Cowlitz County his home, he founded the Heritage Association of Lower Columbia, so I'm interested to hear more about that. He is a member of Lions. He's a member of the Kelso Lions Club. He's with his wife Erin locally. She's a teacher at St. Rose School, and he also has a daughter over there at St. Rose. So please welcome Joseph Govednik.
Thank you, Art. Thank you, fellow Lions. I appreciate the warm welcome. It's been, I believe, about 1.5 years since I've been here, so I hope that my slideshow isn't too much of the same. I actually saw the old slideshow right as I was loading everything onto the thumb drive, and was like, I better look at this before I compare it to my current slideshow, but I do have some new material here. And of course, in a year and a half, a lot of things can happen, especially when we're not kind of locked down like we were, 3 years ago, and things were a little bit slower and more. We don't remember that part. Yeah, there's a long time ago now, it seems like. And so I do have also with me some rack cards here that we have that explain a little bit about the Cowlitz County Historical Museum, and they're up here, and hopefully they can get distributed. And then also we have our esteemed Cowlitz Historical Quarterly, and you can all get, all of you, if I have enough copies, that is, a complimentary back issue copy. And this particular issue is from December of 1980, so it talks about Mount St. Helens. Inside it, you might notice a pink piece of paper, and that is a membership card or a membership application. And I was asked by President Sherrill if there's anything that the Lions Club could do for the museum. And one thing I'll start with is please consider becoming a member. If you do fill out this form and mail it in or turn it in later, please write down LVPL, Longview Pioneer Lions on it, and initials, and you'll get the current price here of $40 for the basic membership. We are going to have to raise our prices. Our membership drive is this month, and unfortunately, just the nature of inflation and the cost of everything, we are going to be adjusting our membership rates. So if you put down LVPL on your application, we will. If you join at the individual $40 level, you will be honored at that price. All the other pricing levels are the same. If you become a sustaining member at that level, we are a member of the North American Reciprocal Museum Association. There are about 1,300 member affiliate museums. So if you get onto their website, you can find out all the museums that are part of this membership. And so with that enhanced membership, your Cowlitz County Historical Society membership card can get you into other museums for free, treated like you're a member there. Oftentimes you get the 10% discount in the gift shop and other features too. So it's like being a member of all these other museums, but all you're doing is becoming a member of your local historical society at the sustaining level. And again, I would recommend, if you do opt for that and you're traveling somewhere, so you're going down to Los Angeles or traveling to New York, look up the North American Reciprocal Museum Association website and see what affiliate museums are there, and maybe you can do some sightseeing at a discount. So that's another perk of membership. I'll go ahead and get into the slideshow here. I will also contact the Genealogical Society about updating the contact information. I've been the director now for 6.5 years, but people still ask if I'm the new director. And David Freese, my predecessor, said he was called the new director for 5 years. And the weird thing is, David has been the director for 31 years before he retired. And me being here for 6.5 years, I'm the second longest serving director of the museum, because there were 2 directors before David and they both served for about 5 years. But that was back in the 70s and 80s. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide here. We have our hours are from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Tuesdays through Saturdays, at the same location, 405 Allen Street, that everybody drives by on their way to work or here and there, and then they come in and say, gosh, I haven't been here in a long time. So when you drive by it all the time, come on in. So when you get a chance, if it's with the beautiful weather that we have right now, a rainy Saturday is a great time to go to see a museum or do something that's an indoor activity. Our website is cowlitzcountyhistory.org, and that's the Historical Society's website that has our most up-to-date information on it. We'll go ahead to the next slide here. So we are a public and private partnership between Cowlitz County and the nonprofit Cowlitz County Historical Society. So the county owns the building, and they do the maintenance on it. They pay for my salary. The Historical Society pays for the staff salary, for the curator, the educator, the office manager. They do the fundraising for the exhibits and programs. And so it's a partnership that has been in place since 1975, and it's been working out very well. our facility had an expansion in 2003, and a permanent exhibit was put in 2016. Typically, museum permanent exhibits are up for about 20 or 25 years, with usually a mid-duration improvement at some point, because they're very costly to do. And so we probably won't be looking at another permanent exhibit change until, I would imagine, the 2030s. But I'm also looking at doing some enhancements probably in the near future, as we are into our 8th year now of our current exhibits, our current permanent exhibit. And then we have an improved collection storage that was put in this last year with improved storage shelving, and we have about 300 members. And hopefully, if you would consider joining us, we can bump those numbers up. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So we have archives, we have secure storage and research for cultural objects, exhibits where we can do storytelling using the three-dimensional objects and images. We have community programming and a space as a resource for our community. We'll go ahead to the next one, please. And here's our permanent exhibit here, which is Cowlitz Encounters. And Cowlitz Encounters did win a regional and a nationwide award for excellence. It took about 5 years of fundraising and development to put that in. So that was a project from around 2011, 2012 until 2016 when it was opened. And we'll go ahead to the next one. So here's a couple images here of the Cowlitz Encounters exhibit. Who here has not been to the museum yet? This is not a witch hunt. I just want to know if you have not been to the museum yet, or if you have not been to the museum in the last, say, 5 years, come on down. It's free admission. So come on down, check it out. We're right on Allen Street, and there's no cost to get in. Go ahead and we'll go to the next one. So we have rotating and loaned exhibits that are in a temporary gallery. Here's our World War I exhibit. And we have old exhibits that are retired, and my hope is that, and if you think of any organizations that might want to utilize some of the materials, we have usually panels that are printed that go into storage when they're done. We don't throw everything away. And they could be loaned to other local museums, they could be loaned to libraries. We have our women's suffrage exhibit on display at the Cowlitz County Youth Services Building, which is also known as Juvenile Hall. They approached us and asked if there was a way that they could improve the interior of the experience when people come in there for their clients. And it's all this kind of a cinder block brick wall inside the corridors. And so now there's color in there with those exhibit panels, so it adds a little bit of light in there. We'll go ahead here. Here's our permanent exhibit, or sorry, our temporary exhibit. We'll go back one, please. Thank you. In our gallery, this is 1923, the year that changed Cowlitz County history. So there was a lot of talk about the centennial of Longview, and we covered that in here, but there was also a lot of other events that happened in 1923. The Allen Street Bridge collapse happened on January 3rd, 1923. That was the worst bridge disaster by fatalities in Washington state history. The Cowlitz County moved its county seat from Kalama to Kelso in 1923. The Pacific Highway was completed in Cowlitz County in 1923. So there's a lot of things that happened in 1923. Here's an example of one of the exhibit panels here, and I want to just give a shout out here to Pat Palmer from Copies Today, because his team was very pleasant to work with and very patient with us with all the revisions that we did. So if you want to come and see some of the work that Pat and his team had worked on, come by and check out 1923, the year that changed Cowlitz County history. It will be on display probably through the summer of this year, 2024. But thank you so much, Pat. You guys did excellent work. We appreciate it.
Can you name a service?
I'll pay it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you name a service club that started in 1923?
Would it be the Pioneer
Hey,
Lions Club? So I passed the first level of the gauntlet of questions. So in our temporary gallery, I also like to let people from the community utilize the space too, if we can find applicable use of it. Hans Schaffhaus is a local photographic artist, and he took all these pictures of East Germany, taken in black and white, taken during January and February. So it's really kind of dark and dismal, kind of like how we might imagine East Germany was at that time. So we thought, well, why don't we, for a winter exhibit, we'll have black and white pictures of East Germany taken during January and February. And he has these fantastic shots here. Here's a section of the Berlin Wall. And then we even augmented it with some nutcrackers from my personal collection that were also made in East Germany. In fact, East Germany exported lots of nutcrackers during the Cold War over here. That was one of the few forms of trade that we had. A piece of the Berlin Wall from another community member. They brought that back when they were visiting in the around 1990. East German coins, East German beer. And this is a passport that's actually stamped DDR on it, on an American passport, because there was a 3-month period between when the wall came down and when Germany was reunified, where you could go visit the German Democratic Republic, and there was Russian soldiers and East German soldiers on the other side of the wall, and you could wander around and then come back, but they would stamp it DDR. That was the only 3 months roughly that you would find an American passport with a DDR stamp on it. And this is one of them. We'll go ahead to the next slide, please. So this was a fun project that we did in partnership with the Columbia Artists Association, and they have an annual spring art show. And we connected, I believe, at Squirrel Fest, which, Rick, you like Squirrel Fest, don't you? You like squirrely stuff? Sandbaggery kind of things? So we were getting squirrely at Squirrel Fest, and I saw all this artwork, and I said, you know, it'd be neat if we could somehow find a way to partner. We are a history museum, but we're also a community place, and they were looking for a place to have their spring art show, and so we did this as a partnership. And so for about a 2-month period, they, the Columbia Artists Association had set up all this artwork. It's all local artists, and it's for sale. And part of the proceeds help the Columbia Artists Association. They also help out the Historical Society. And it brought in a whole new audience of people into the museum, and we also got some new memberships out of that. It was a wonderful partnership, and Eileen Thompson, who's the president, is right there in that corner picture. And this is our 3rd year coming up of this partnership. And that will be on March 23rd. It's the opening reception. It's a Saturday at 2 o'clock at the museum, free admission, free attendance to the open reception. And it'll be up until Saturday, April 13th, 2024. So if you have a chance and want to come see some really nice artwork produced by local artists that's also available for sale, come by and check out the Art Association's Spring Art Show. Another community connection we have is we like to promote other local interests like local authors. And here we have Hal Calbaum, who's a Longview native, and he wrote a book, Empire of Trees. Anybody heard of the book Empire of Trees? It's a Longview centennial book. He spoke to you. So you guys have heard about Hal and heard about the book, and you can, if you didn't have a chance to get it yet, you can also pick it up at our gift shop, because we stock that book and other local books by local authors. And again, any of the proceeds help the museum out, and we like to promote anything that's local, because we're a county history museum, and history's in the making right here. One thing I would like to point out too is in the background is that Como 4 TV car from Mount St. Helens fame. So if you're ever wondering where it went, because it used to be up on display up by the Interpretive Center, and then it disappeared. If you come by the Cowlitz County Historical Museum, it's right there when you enter into the front door. Okay, we'll go to the next one. So we'd like to do a little bit of community outreach as well. Here is Danielle Robbins, who's our educator and program manager, and she is at an education fair here, and then here she is at Squirrel Fest. So we'd like to hand out information to people about the museum and have them be aware of what we do at these opportunities. Go to the next one here. So Heritage Association of the Lower Columbia. This is an organization I formed a few months after I came here. I was part of the Heritage League of Pierce County when I was at the previous Maritime Museum I was at up in Tacoma. And we didn't have anything like this down here. I contacted the local museums here, because we have the Woodland Historical Society, Stella Historical Society, Riderwood had a history group as well. There's also the Interpretive Center at the Port of Kalama, which is not a museum, but it's a magnificent interpretive center with really nice, high-quality exhibits. And so we all get together about quarterly and discuss matters of heritage and museums and exhibits, fundraising, and how to recruit volunteers, and other matters that are important to us. Of course, COVID did, play its toll on the group, and we are gradually reformulating back into the regular meetings, but it's been a wonderful partnership to get to know everybody from all the different historical organizations in Cowlitz County and also Wahkiakum County. We have public programming here. This is the first Thursday program we did in partnership with the Longview Public Library. Typically, we have our first Thursday programs at the museum in the meeting room. This one, we worked with the library because our HVAC unit was not functional, and this was an early January program, early September program, which can be the hottest time of the year. I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to go crawling on my hands and knees to the library and ask if we could maybe use some of their space and work with them. And they were delighted to partner with us. And this is Don Larry talking about his grandfather, Ian Larry, who's the architect of Longview, and at this program. We'll go ahead to the next one, please. One of our big programs too is Winter Festival, and during COVID, this is my daughter, she's a couple years younger here, but we had to do a drive-by gift bag program instead of having an actual program in the museum like this one from a couple years before that. We would have people drive by and we gave kids gift bags, and this is in partnership with the YMCA, and Olaf is here handing out gift bags. And then here's a reception for the Columbia Artists Association in that picture there. And here is Winter Festival. This is this last year's Winter Festival from last month, and this is one from probably 2019. And go back just to this Winter Festival, by the way, our numbers were higher than last year. We did not have Winter Festival before last year, so last year meaning 2022 was our first live Winter Festival again, and then we had a pretty good turnout. And last year was a little bit more, and people just stayed around for a long time. Normally we have a few rushes and then there's some lulls. This year it was like 3 hours of just constant rush, and it was open for 4 hours. So we were very busy, and at the time this flew by. We'll go ahead to the next one, please. Our school programming has also taken off. During COVID, of course, it was modified for online delivery, but now we're back in the classrooms, and the demand is as high or higher as it was before COVID. We are now at the point where we need additional help. So again, if there's any, as President Cheryl mentioned, if there's anything the Lions Club can do, if anybody has an interest in working with children or education or assisting us, Danielle, our program manager, can always use help with our education programs. Usually there's another adult that works with her that helps hand out materials. There's sort of the Vanna White in the room assisting her with the programs. But we're at capacity now with our education programs, so we're trying to figure out how to do that. We'll go ahead and here's some thank you cards from the kids. So another program that we do is the Cowlitz County Fair, and here is life member Jerry Kelly. He has what's called a What Is It table. Anybody heard of the What Is It table that Jerry Kelly does? And so he brings this to the county fair and entertains people as they get kind of stumped about all these kind of medieval looking, they look like medieval torture devices, but they're actually regular tools that are no longer used these days, and people have to guess what they are. He will be doing a program for First Thursday at the museum on, I believe that's February 1st. This February 1st, First Thursday, 7 o'clock at the museum. He's going to do a program on logging equipment. And again, you can check out our website for most up-to-date information. We'll go ahead to the next one, please. And then here's a kid that was doing a craft. And then inside the bush cabin, Danielle likes to decorate everything into the theme of the fair. And last year, we actually, anybody been to the bush cabin on the fairgrounds? There's a little old jail cell right behind us. It's Cowlitz County's first jail. Well, we broke into jail actually last summer before the fair so that we could get into it, because I always looked at it thinking like, how do we get into that? That'd be a neat photo op for people. And it was kind of rusted shut and hard to get in. So we, our board of directors, they all did a work party, and we busted into jail and opened it up and had it as a photo op opportunity for people. There was a picture of the Daily News of somebody in there. Next one, please. And more programming here. Here's Dr. Dale Crows talking about archaeological sites in the Cowlitz corridor during our annual membership meeting. And we had a contingent of visitors from Longview's sister city, Wako, Japan, come to visit the museum. We thought they might be around for maybe 45 minutes or so, but they stuck around for about an hour and a half, and they were very intrigued with what we had. Again, Danielle, who's right here, had a lot of hands-on items. She says that when you have a language barrier, having hands-on items is really helpful because people can communicate through touch. So that was a lot of fun. Big project that we had. I may have talked about this at the last time because it hadn't been completed yet, but we had a collection storage problem where we didn't have enough room for everything. We were paying for off-site storage in the basement of the MRC. So we kind of did an assessment of what we needed and what we could do. And so we'll go to the next picture, which shows this is the old shelving that has been, all the material's been removed off of it. Bill, our curator, put everything into the meeting room. So that's what our meeting room looked like while the contractors were working on the new storage shelving. So when we go to the next slide here, they're installing a new floor that has tracks on it. And these are the movable carriage bases. And so what will happen is these shelves move back and forth. So instead of having, say, 3 shelves in 2 aisles, you could have 4 shelves in 1 aisle. So you're getting rid of that extra aisle space that's not being used. If we go to the next picture, these are the storage units. You wheel these cranks around and they move back and forth. And now as a result, we only need 1 aisle, and the rest of it is this big solid block of storage, and you just move them whichever way you need to move. That nearly doubled the space in our storage room number 10, which is one of our largest storage rooms. It also allowed us to move everything out of our off-site storage. And I think the next picture is our off-site storage moved back into the meeting room. And so that was another project our curator had to work with and play Tetris and move parts around. But now we are all under one roof. Every item that's in Cowlitz County Historical Museum's collection is at the museum, with the exception of a few items that are on loan. Next one, please. And speaking of collections items, if you have anything that you're thinking about that might have a historical significance to the area, if you have provenance on it and it has a story that could tell, we would be interested in that most likely. So feel free to reach out to the museum. Please don't just show up with some item or show up with a bunch of boxes. Please call first. We do have people that sometimes show up with their items without an appointment, or they've even left boxes at the back door, especially on a rainy day that's happened. So just make an appointment with us so we can take a look, because that's where we get a lot of our history. One of our last items that we got in our collection from last year was a life ring from Crystal Pool. Anybody remember Crystal Pool? Up off the Cowlitz River? Well, we have the life ring now. And there was just an amazing story of that outdoor recreation that was going on there from the 1930s until the late 60s. Next one, please. Our gift shop, if you ever are finding yourself on Christmas Eve or right before Christmas and you don't know what to do, come to the museum. We will help you out. We will get you those gifts that you need to get for people that are unique and different, because you can go to a big box store and just buy somebody something because you feel like you got to buy it for them, or you can get these local authored books and locally sourced items to give. And you don't have to do it just during Christmas. Birthdays happen year-round, so feel free to come by the museum, see what we have in our gift shop. And I think that's it. I don't know how I am on time. Did I blast through that too fast?
You're good for 4 or 5 more minutes.
I'm good for 4 or 5 more minutes, or I can do a little Q&A if anybody has some Q&A, or does Rick want to start heckling me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, but Rick and I did talk about one thing. One thing I did forget to put in here was a slide that shows that the Sandbaggers now have a time capsule at the museum. And that's been buried near the Daughters of the American Revolution marker that's off of 4th Avenue. And that won't be opened until 50 years from now. So any of you who are around 50 years from now, come by the museum, and the marker's marked with the date when it should be dug up. And so we'll see whoever's there in 50 years. Yes?
Marilyn plans to be there.
Where is the other mic?
So Marilyn will be bringing a shovel with her in 50 years to dig up the time capsule.
Did you mention that you were a sandbagger?
I am a sandbagger too, guilty as charged.
Rick Johnson had mentioned that you have a space available for people to meet from the community. Did you?
We do, yes. So our meeting room is available for community groups on a complimentary, there's no charge, on a once a quarter basis. And that's part of the stipulation with our lease agreement, is that we also allow governmental organizations to use the meeting room, but like a community service group, if they wanted to have a meeting or a special meeting, could use our space.
How much is that, or the capacity?
We can put 70 people in there in speaker and audience configuration.
Oh, okay. And then my other question would be, do you allow food to be served?
Yes. Yeah, food is allowed in there. We don't have any, like a kitchen setup. We do have a break room that has a sink and a refrigerator and a microwave, but we don't have, professional kitchen setup or anything like that.
Or that a catering could be come in?
A caterer could come in, yes.
Or potluck?
You can do a potluck.
Okay.
You can bring a caterer. You just can't bring alcohol, but if you do bring alcohol, you can bring alcohol if you have a licensed bartender with insurance, and that's where the cost starts to get up a little higher.
And what days would that be available?
Any day.
Any day.
Any day. It's kind of on a case-by-case basis, so if you...
Pre-arrangement.
By pre-arrangement. So if you wanted, so we're not open on Sundays or Mondays, but it doesn't mean I can't be there to open up the building for a group that needs to use it on a Sunday.
So contact you if we wanted to use it?
Right, yeah, contact me if you want to use the meeting room and we
Thank
can
you.
set up something.
Oh, parking also. Could you tell us exactly where that's at?
Sure, parking is between 5th and 4th Avenue, and there's Academy Street where there's the church on the uphill side. So the parking lot at the museum is a county-owned parking lot, and that's free parking. And that would be probably where I'd recommend parking. And there's ample parking there except Sunday mornings because the church across the street uses that parking lot for their congregation to park in as well.
Other questions? Would you be interested in the historical artifacts of the Longview Pioneer Alliance?
I think we would, yes. Yeah, if you have archival materials or physical items, I think you may be interested.
What?
Yeah.
Can we drop Hal off?
People back there that might have.
And we'll go Rick and then Pat.
Can you tell us how the pictures work from Chelsea High School?
The pictures worked from the...
Pictures on the walls that people can borrow now?
The pictures that people can borrow that are on the walls from Kelso High School.
From the old high school?
I'm not sure I understand.
I think he's asking about the loan.
Would we loan
Loan
pictures?
out From previous.
The old class.
Oh, like graduation pictures, like
Yeah.
like the group pictures from different classes? If we have them in our archive, we could print them out. Is that what you're asking?
Well, you'll loan them out also.
We could loan them to municipal organizations or other museums, but as far as individuals, I'd have to talk with my curator about that. But we could also, we probably have the images that we could print out and then you could just take them with you. The image archives we have are about 1 million images in our archives, so we have lots of class photos, and if you wanted to like have a private event or something like that, I'm sure there's a way we could get you access to those images. Is that what you were asking about, is like high school? Like if you're having a class of 72 reunion or something like that, how to get images like that? So yes, we could do that. So if anybody has like a class reunion, you can talk to our curator and he'll help connect you with the images that you're looking for. And then there was a question from Pat.
Question, a statement and a question. Thank you for the call out earlier. It was one of the highlights of my printing career was to be able to help put that together and guide our designers through the process of making sure it was what was needed. You may not know this about me, but when I travel, I almost always go to a museum wherever I go to. It's not only one of the most fascinating ways to learn about the place that you're at, but it's also just this an incredible way to really connect with what you're seeing and how it changes. Over the course of years, I've used the museum on a number of times. I haven't done it recently because I've kind of amassed a number of images in my own little libraries. And that's my question is there a way that we can have this digital library that's like housed there, and I can upload it off of my system and give it to the library? Is that a possibility?
So we have, on our website, there should be a link to some of our collections items and some of our images. Not all of them are up yet. Are you thinking in terms of looking through our archives from a remote location or from you giving us? So I would coordinate that with our curator probably and ask him, say, hey, we've got all these images. We would like to give them to the museum because there may be some images that we don't have in our collection that we should have. And I would coordinate with Bill Watson, who is our curator.
Thank you. I think that probably is time, right?
Yeah,
President?
it's time.
Right, thank you very much.
So Director Joe, as a thank you for coming and being with us today and speaking to us and updating us on what's going on over at the museum. Here's our Lions, Longview Pioneer Lions mug. You probably haven't won at home, so now you've got a match to it. Okay, thank you very much. I won't give you a membership app since you're already a Lion, but you're welcome to come anytime. We meet every Tuesday at lunch.
All right, thank you.
Okay, come visit us. All right. Now, just give me a second here. I gotta get my box back in place. Okay, there we go. Announcements. One thing I wanted to say at the top is there will be a board meeting tomorrow, off day, not a Thursday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, morning, 8 a.m. at Cascade Final as usual, but it's been rescheduled from Thursday due to our secretary has a scheduling conflict, and we'd really kind of like to have him there to take our minutes. So we will be meeting tomorrow morning. So if you're on the board, please be there. Other Lions, you're all welcome. Okay, Ann?
Yeah, President Cheryl, Lions and guests, we have a message or an announcement from Rex. He's announcing a work party Thursday, 7 o'clock in the morning to get the Christmas decorations offline.
Ooh, okay, that's important work. Thursday morning, show up if you can to help pull the Christmas stuff down.
Are we meeting at the lake at 7? Okay.
At the lake, 7 a.m. Thursday.
If there's no lights on the road.
Okay, I wanted to mention that we had mentioned a couple of weeks ago about the passing of Jackie Patton. And at Jack's request, there is not going to be a service. So if you want to show your respect and remembrance of Lion Jack, it's asked that in lieu of cards and flowers, please make a donation to our club instead. And I think Cindy has something she wanted to share about that. So we can get going on that right now.
Not quite sure of protocol, but President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I would like to make a motion that today's tail-twisting happy sad dollars go to the fund for Jack Patton in his name.
Second.
All right?
I'll turn it over to you.
Motion made and seconded that today's happy, sad, whatever dollars that went into the bucket should be donated to our club in Jack Patton's name. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's do it. Okay, Darlene, you had something to share with us about the recycling project?
President Cheryl, Fair Lions and guests. If you have anything that you want to recycle, you have a bin here so you can bring it to a meeting. It's in the back, but we have it. Just bring it to me and I can put it in the bin. We did our first turn-in through Fred Meyer's. And then I have to always take a picture of whatever it is, and then I send it, or go to the website and put in how many pounds and everything. We are already over 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Good. 200 of 1,000.
Yeah.
We can keep 100 pounds a month going, we've got it.
Well, and this is really through a grocery outlet. I mean, we kind of got stuff changed a little bit, but from what the company is saying, they said, you know, you have to take out all labels and all this other stuff. Well, especially if it's got personal names on it, I would take it off. But when I talked to Fred Meyer's, I said, do you guys recycle? Yes. Do you take off labels? No. And I thought, okay, we are giving our stuff to you, and then you're sending it to wherever through this company. So why should we take off, spend the time to do the labels? So it's a lot quicker for us just to go to grocery outlet and we bag it, and we take it to Fred Meyer's like once a month or every 6 weeks. So, and I have to weigh every bag that we have. So it's a little time consuming, but it's not bad. Like we got done from like 40 or 50 pounds in about half an hour at grocery outlet. And their bins are about this tall, and they just keep pushing it down. We just go in every 2 to 3 weeks and empty them. And so we're getting there very quickly.
20 to 30 minute gig. It's an easy project, and very important.
So we'll probably do it next Wednesday. We'll have to wait and see what on Christmas lights and stuff, but probably next Wednesday and the weather and everything. So
okay,
thank you.
Thank you, darling. Greg Firth, what you got for us, compadre?
President Cheryl Cowlitz, yes, real quick, tomorrow evening, 6:30, Canterbury Park, is our Sight and Hearing Foundation meeting, their monthly meeting. Anybody is more welcome to attend to see what we do, providing eyeglasses and hearing aids.
And it may be winter outside, folks, but poet and author Victor Hugo wrote, "Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face." So keep laughing this week, pioneers. Have a good one.